How you doing? I'm Eric.
Oh, hi, Eric. I'm Dale.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, welcome to Woodcraft.
Thank you. Thank you.
What brings you in today?
Dust collection.
Okay.
I'm building a small shop at home and starting to add more equipment to it, and dust is becoming a problem.
What kind of needs, how big a unit are you going to have? Or
I'm not really sure. I've got probably about 600 square feet.
Okay.
And, I'm adding equipment to it. I'm definitely going to be adding a joiner and a planer, some, machines that really create a lot of sawdust. And my maximum run is probably going to be 20 feet.
Okay, all right. Well,
So
that's
I'm
good
not
to
sure.
know. That's good to kind of think about that in advance because this will handle all of the tools, whether it's
Okay.
a jointer or your planer or table saw. It'll take the CFM or the cubic feet per minute. It'll handle all that. When you have a run, then you start losing a little bit of that suction or that cubic feet.
Oh.
And so on a 20-foot run, for example, you might want a 2-horse. So this is made in a 1.5, a 2, and a 3-horse models,
Okay.
motors. And so you will need probably a 2-horse, I would estimate, for something like that.
So what else can you tell me about this unit?
So first of all, we got the motor on top. Now that's pretty unusual because most of the time the motors are on the bottom. So that's what they've done a good job at. So we're not hitting any wood into the fan.
Right.
So again, it's
'Cause it's
below
all
here,
dropping.
and it's all making a separate chamber for that. And that's kind of a
This is a
key
huge
thing.
filter, too.
Yeah, that filter it's a little bigger than most because we do want some good breathing room here.
Yeah.
So if you were actually to lay that out, that would probably be about 10 by 10 or 100 square feet
Really?
of pleating material in there so it can breathe
That's huge.
a lot better. So what little dust does get into there will get caught up into there. It can go down to 1 micron. We can only see down to 11 microns. So that's a pretty tiny particle, but yet that being
that's all the
said, we
stuff
don't
I'm
want that
breathing.
to breathe it and to keep it clean, and very little will go down into the bag that's underneath it. So
Okay.
that's why they have a little bag on there, because you don't need a big bag. There isn't going to be a lot from that.
So one of the things that I really liked the most about this unit was the canister.
Yeah, so that you can see some wheels down there.
Can you show me how it works?
Yeah, so we have a metal canister. We've got a bar here, so it's already up into the air being sealed up. So when we take this bar and move it right on down like that, that puts it on the floor. You can wheel it right
Yeah.
out. It's got a handle here, and we're going to be able to dump our debris out and get it all back into place.
See, look how easy this is. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's got a big, heavy rubber gasket on here.
Okay.
So what that does, this will automatically pretty much line right up to where it's got to go.
Okay, okay.
Got that big gasket in there. You start pulling this on, and it will go right and seal right up. The wheels are now off the floor,
Yeah.
so you can still maneuver this around.
See, I think, to me, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a great. It's got a little window here to make sure you don't get it too full. And
So, Dale, one of the things I've also seen, too, are those bag systems. Where
Yeah.
it's this big bag. Do you have any of those here you
yeah,
can
some
show
have
me?
the bags in them, but let me show you what those are. We'll kind of
Okay.
look at those.
Yeah.
All right.
Dale, this is the exact unit I was talking about. My dad had one of these in his workshop.
Yep, yeah, this is one of the basics, I guess, that everyone knows about dust collectors. They're used to the bag. It actually has 2 bags, so if you notice, it's got a see-through collection bag on the bottom.
So that's all for your waste.
That's where all the sawdust goes. Right?
Okay.
And it can get pretty heavy, get pretty loaded up, but it's doing its job by getting the wood down in there. Actually, it has a bag on top, and that's your filter bag. That's where you have, in this case, a 5-micron filter bag.
That's
and
thick.
Goes up into that. So it does feel thick. So
Yeah.
we want it to breathe. It's got to be able to get the air out, but we want to keep the dust in there.
And then the motor's on the bottom.
Yeah,
on
so
this side.
basically how it works, the motor's on the bottom here. It's still got a 1.5 horse, in this case, induction motor, so it's made to run all day. It's quiet. Basic unit.
Do you think this would work in my shop well?
Well, this here would be for probably toting it around, or if you had a
okay.
10, 15 foot hose on it would be
Okay,
good.
okay.
But it wouldn't be good for a straight run. So if you're going to put up a solid run and you're going to have blast gates at each machine, then you're probably going to need something not only a little bigger horsepower, but probably a better filtering system, because again, the filtering system will keep up the CFM. This is going to start slowing down the CFM as this gets a little bit clogged up in there.
And I like the size of the filter on that Laguna unit. That's a huge filter on there.
So again, that keeps up the CFM, and it keeps all that debris right down into the bag where you can get rid of it.
And I really like the collection bin.
Yeah, the collection box or bag or whatever's under there, but that's a lot easier. They get pretty heavy after a while, some of these 30, 40 gallons of sawdust in there.
So do you have that 2-horse in stock then?
Yeah, so we have it in stock and
all right,
ready to go.
Well, let's load it up, man.
All right, good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
I appreciate it. So I'm finally done assembling this dust collector. In total, it took me probably around 5 hours, and it really wasn't too bad. There's a lot of little packages, tons of nuts and bolts. You have to pay attention to the instructions and just take your time with it, but it's not a big deal. I love putting things together. I'm super excited to see how it grows with my shop. It's going to be so nice to have something that I know can keep up with all the equipment I plan on adding down the road. And it's going to be really cool to turn something on the lathe and actually have a real dust collection. Never really had that before. My next project with dust collection is going to be actually finding a home for it and then plumbing the shop overhead with mains and drops. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss those future videos. One cool feature that I'm really excited to use, I think it's going to be a huge help for me in the shop, is this. And this.